Canucks lose 5-3 to the Jets, but of greater concern, they lose Thatcher Demko yet again. We've got lots to talk about. This is Rinkwide Vancouver. We welcome you inside the Pacific Toyota Dealer Studios. Visit shoptoyota.ca or your local Pacific Toyota dealer today. It's Rinkwide Vancouver. It's brought to you in part by Bet365. I'm Jeff. He is Irf. And this show is going to be devoted primarily to Thatcher Demko and the week that was. Winnipeg comes to town, snaps a 3-game losing streak, defeats the Canucks 5-3. Canucks go 1-2-1 on their 4-game homestand, and now they're back out on the road, but your guess is as good as mine. Who's going to be on that flight to Carolina tomorrow? Because Thatcher Demko left this game after 20 minutes of play, so all the talk over the weekend about preventative maintenance and resting up and being ready to go, and now you have no choice but to ask, should he have even started this hockey game tonight, because he couldn't finish it, and we don't know when we'll see Thatcher Demko again. So storylines abound, Irf, as the homestand comes to an end.
So the best part that you just said was, should he have started it, didn't finish it, didn't even get through half of it. And I think that's the bigger question. I want to go back all the way, if we started here with Thatcher Demko. We're going to get into the game, obviously, but we're going to have to go back to last week on Monday. That was the last time that Thatcher Demko appeared in a National Hockey League game. Since then, did they have a practice day?
Friday. Friday was the maintenance
day for Thatcher Demko. So he skated on his own. Saturday, Sunday, skated on his own. And then now is where the messaging from the team comes in. Obviously, other people also involved in and around the story saying that he's fine. He needed to see NHL shots, was the message that I got before that they wanted to play. So he takes the morning skate. Obviously, that is NHL shots from his teammates, albeit not at that level. Goes into a game. Throughout the entire first period of that game was slow. Was slow getting up, was slow reacting, was just not Thatcher Demko that we've seen this season or in years past. Doesn't come out for the second period. And right there,
I can tell you, being in the building, like I think a lot of people saw, television showed in the first that, there were some times there where he was stretching between whistles. It was kind of slow to get to the bench at the end of 20 minutes. And so the question was, who was going to come out to start the second period? Sure enough, it was Kevin Lankinen. And when that was announced in the building, like the game became so secondary. You could just feel like the air coming out of what was a fairly entertaining first period of play. 5 goals. The Canucks had a lead for a brief while there. But once Lankinen appeared and took the net for the second, like everything in that building changed. And again, we'll wait to hear from Adam Foote post-game. Hopefully we'll be able to bring you some of that. Certainly we'll watch for quotes coming out of the media room down at Rogers Arena. But just to take it back to your point, so last Monday in Nashville, the Canucks beat the Predators in overtime. That was the last time Thatcher Demko played in an NHL game. They flew on Tuesday, so no ice, no workload there. He backed up Kevin Lankinen on Wednesday against the Chicago Blackhawks, and we all kind of thought that, fine, that might just be a scheduled Lankinen start after a couple of sketchy starts for Demko. He had given up a bunch of goals, didn't have an issue with that. Thursday was a team day off, and this is why Friday alarm bells were ringing already on Friday, because he needed a maintenance day after a team day off on Thursday. So no ice, no game action, no practice on Tuesday as they flew home from Nashville. Limited action as the backup took part in the warm-up on Wednesday night. Thursday was a team day off. Friday was the preventative maintenance day. Saturday and Sunday not available to the Vancouver Canucks. Monday, a team day off. And so more than a week goes by here, and the number one starter, the guy that they had to re-sign this offseason before waiting to see if he could get through a full season unscathed, unavailable, not there for the weekend games, and we were told everything was fine.
And let me, to your point, Wednesday when he backing up obviously means you're good enough to play. In a pinch,
you're one knock
Thatcher
away.
Demko could have played that game on Wednesday. So Thursday was a team day off. Friday was a preventative maintenance day. So Saturday and Sunday, because everyone said that he was fine and it was maintenance, he still couldn't even back up. Now, I understand what they did in Toronto with Stolarz. They gave him a day off. Okay, I'll give him the pass maybe on Saturday. But on Sunday, not good enough to back up against the Colorado Avalanche. That was where my question mark started to be raised a little bit. And then team day off on Monday. Skates this morning. You were there. What did it look like this morning in that scene?
Yeah, I mean, it looked like a normal morning skate. And I think we all watched him closely, and he went through the entire morning skate. Didn't appear to be any issues there. But clearly, the fact that he couldn't get through 20 minutes without some sort of distress and had to pull himself from the game. And again, we don't know the nature of the injury. That's part of the frustration here, too, is the messaging from the organization. Now, they don't disclose injuries, so we're left to speculate. We're left to guess. But this has been a colossal disaster from Friday, the first time Adam Foote addressed it and talked himself in knots, trying not to use the word injury. And this was all part of the plan and everything else. And I don't know if the organization feels that we on the front line, the media, the people asking the questions are fools, or if they think the fan base is foolish. But there has to be some honesty, some accountability here on the part of an organization that employs a goaltender who has this long list of injuries. And they can't continue to bury their head in the sand, and their own news department completely avoids and ignores the fact that Thatcher Demko has issues. Like, they didn't even make mention of Demko anywhere on their website. The maintenance day, they completely choose to ignore that, and that's fine. That's the in-house operation.
Yeah.
But the fan base here, this market is way too savvy to have the wool pulled over its eyes. And so, again, there was a lot of grumbling over the weekend that preventative maintenance BS, and then it blows up in their face here. There has to be a level of honesty with your paying customer.
I got a message on Sunday actually when we were doing Rink-Wide on Sunday night that it said he feels fine, but he still hasn't faced shots, so that was the reason why he didn't dress, which is still a little bit bizarre. So feels fine wasn't preventative maintenance. That means that meant there was something going on. Obviously, we have to look at it today and hear what Adam Foote has to say a little bit later on, and then kind of see what happens from there. But take me through the first 20 minutes of that game, Jeff. Demko, obviously, like I mentioned, slow, didn't look good, and then press row, Demko doesn't come out. You see Kevin Lankinen walking out of that tunnel. Immediately, your thought was,
oh boy, here we go. When will we see Demko next? Because now they're out on the road for 3. Again, will he be on that flight? My hunch would say no if he couldn't get through 20 minutes. So now we're looking into next week. Are we going to see him next week? Are we going to see him next month? Will we see him next season? Who knows? But, some irony here that it was March the 9th, 2024 against the Winnipeg Jets. And that was the last game that he played until the tail end of that regular season. And so I don't know if it's something about the Jets here. I don't think it mattered who the opponent was. Yeah. He clearly wanted to test himself, but he flunked the test. And again, is it the knee? Is it a groin? Is it something else? Is it a new injury? Is it a continuation of past injuries? We don't know the answers to that. They don't want to give you the answers to that. All you know is that this goaltender that they were pinning their hopes on, and when he's healthy and dialed in, we know that he can be among the best in the National Hockey League, but he's just not able to stay healthy. And he's a month shy of his 30th birthday. And we've said it before, but this body, the position he plays, it demands a ton. It is ridiculously physical. And it just sort of feels like his body has betrayed him to be able to play nightly in the National Hockey League for the last bunch of seasons now. And where it goes from here, again, really want to hear from Adam Foote. And I do hope that some pointed questions are asked about the way this thing's been handled. Ultimately, where they go, they've got Kevin Lankinen. They've asked a lot of Lankinen, the back-to-back starts. Here he goes again. So basically played 3 and 4. And you just wonder, Jiri Patera up on an emergency basis. Like at some point, Lankinen, you can't play them all.
Nope.
And so somewhere on this road trip, whether it's Carolina, whether it's Tampa, or probably one of the back-to-backs, Jiri Patera, who hasn't played in the National Hockey League in a year and a half, and has 8 NHL games to his credit. He's probably going to suit up and play a game for the Vancouver Canucks, who fall 5-3 to the Winnipeg Jets here. But again, the score sort of seems like an afterthought. The homestand goes with a whimper. They had the one win against Columbus, and now it's back-to-back losses. They got a single point against Colorado, but 1-2-1 on the homestand, so 1 win in 4. The home ice record has been a disaster for way too long now, 3-5-1 in their 9 home games, and fall back below 500 again. 1 step forward, 1 step back. 8-9-1 now are the Vancouver Canucks through 18 games. And what this loss to the Jets does is ends this streak of 9 games where they had alternated losses and wins. Unfortunately, they come out of the streak. It ends with back-to-back losses now. And so the climb to get back to 500 continues. And, this is against a Winnipeg team that just came through California, scored 2 goals in 3 games there. Got 2 power play goals because everybody gets 2 power play goals against the Vancouver Canucks, and that's another storyline that's sort of been overshadowed by the goaltending.
Yeah.
Want to get to a bunch of super chats. We've got a ton
so
of them
many
tonight, and we appreciate your contributions. Super chats support the BC Mental Health Foundation, changing the face of mental health and addiction by supporting breakthroughs in care, public understanding, research, and knowledge exchange. And here we go. Lucky Stream says, what would it take to get the guy leading the St. Louis Blues in scoring, who happens to be a center, is great on the penalty kill, and oh yeah, he's on an excellent contract too. Are we talking about Robert Thomas or are we talking about Jordan Kyrou there?
I don't know which one he's talking about. Braden Shen?
Lucky Stream, Braden Shen as well. His name's been in there. I think first and foremost, they got to figure out, is Thatcher Demko coming back from whatever this is? Or are they in the market for a goaltender of all things all of a sudden? Because Nikita Tolopilo was hurt. Abbotsford got absolutely stuffed 7-0 by the San Jose Barracuda tonight. So tough night all around for the organization on home ice, and Ty Young in goal. But Tolopilo isn't available right now. Otherwise, he might have been called up, but he's not an option. So it's Yuri Patera. They may have to activate him from emergency to regular call-up. We'll see what happens there. Super chat from Shane Austin.
That's who he's referring to. Pius Suter. He's the Blues leading scorer.
Good one. I like
that.
Right
over both our heads.
Yeah, Shane Austin. He didn't leave a comment. He just wanted to make a contribution. We like that. This one from Free Petey. Can you guys create some rink-wide merch? Definitely the hat. And maybe a tee with a rebuild on the back. Yeah, we'll take that under consideration. Lots of people asking about trades and when that's going to happen. This is a super chat from Nux for Cup. With 3 out of 5 of the organization's goalies injured, how long can this team wait to pull the trigger on a trade? I think those are 2 separate conversations. Again, the goaltending issue is a problem for the Canucks, but we know that they've got problems elsewhere. Certainly center ice from the time Pius Suter walked away and they traded JT Miller and all offseason, and then the Filip Chytil injury. Lukas Reichel is not a center, is not a National Hockey League center. He may have to continue to play the position there, but it's to the point now where he plays the first 2 periods and doesn't play the third. He didn't play the final 10 minutes of this hockey game. He's played 10 games for the Canucks and has 1 secondary assist. So he's not an option.
Yeah, and the crazy thing about Reichel is they were fine with that being the trade that they made. That was going to get them through this next little while because he could be a stopgap as to what they wanted to do or what they thought that they could do.
They presented the guy an opportunity.
Yeah.
There's no guarantees in life. I get that. I didn't have a problem. A 4th-round pick for a player, and they had all the injuries at the time. This is on Lukas Reichel.
Yep.
You're in the NHL. You are presented with an opportunity to play, even if it's out of position a bit. It's the NHL. You wanted a second chance, and you have completely flushed it to this point. So I don't blame the organization for rolling the dice. It didn't cost them much, but this guy is not an NHL setter, and you're starting to wonder if this guy's an NHL player at all. So, rant over on Reichel. I don't think we need to speak about this guy a whole lot more. There are far more pressing issues around the Vancouver Canucks on the night when they lose to the Winnipeg Jets by a score of 5-3. Super chat from Justice. Didn't do anything terribly wrong today, but can we admit the Kane trade is worse and worse every game? Turnover machine, doesn't do enough positive to justify his negatives. You bring up an interesting point here as we were watching this game in the third period in studio. Evander Kane tonight plays 21 minutes and 36 seconds, has 8 shots on goal on 13 attempts. And, of course, everybody is screaming for the guy that he plays with to shoot the puck more. Well, clearly some of those shots and those shot attempts are leaving the stick of Elias Pettersson and winding up over on the wing with Evander Kane, who shoots from everywhere, doesn't score from everywhere. But Evander Kane had 13 shot attempts in this hockey game. Elias Pettersson had 3.
Yeah. And look, I'm all for guys getting theirs and shooting the puck. And, we see Evander Kane shooting it. And that's obviously what they want him to do. And he's playing in an elevated role, gets a lot of ice time, plays with Elias Pettersson. But Elias Pettersson is now playing facilitator and getting him the puck. So he's the guy that's the point man. He's the release man. He's the guy that is going to have that big booming shot and take all the shot attempts and things like that. But I'm not entirely sure that that's a plan that's going to work for a long time, just because what you want from Elias Pettersson is to be the guy that shoots the puck and not have to be the playmaker.
Yeah, and again, they're moving these pieces around, trying to find things that work, and ultimately, they score 3 goals. Like, that's kind of the funny part in all of this is that even though Elias Pettersson has gone 8 games now without a goal, and others have struggled, it's another night where they get 3, and a lot of nights in the NHL, you score 3, you're going to get something out of the hockey game, but again, this penalty kill, and we haven't even got to it, and I do want to leave some time to talk about the penalty kill. People may not want to hear it. Another super chat that I want to hit on here, and then we'll get to the 3 stars. This one is from Casey Shuffle, a regular contributor, and we always appreciate Casey weighing in. Needed Demko and Hedl healthy and EP40 to return as a star to be decent. Currently 0 for 3 on those bets. Pack it up, pack it in. Let the rebuild begin. Not wrong. Not wrong at all there.
No.
We all wondered about Filip Hedl and how long could he stay healthy, but we also wondered in the same breath about Thatcher Demko and how long could he stay healthy. And through it all, Elias Pettersson digging in and playing hard most nights, but 8 games without a goal. Like, that's not getting it done. And so you're right. The old Jim Rutherford, if everything goes right, maybe.
But what if one thing goes wrong? Like,
right.
If everything goes right,
they were
great,
built on a house of cards.
Yeah,
they were.
Yep.
And I think we all knew that. And a couple of years ago, they were so fortunate on the injury front until Demko got hurt, but with their skaters, and we've made this point so many times in the 50-win season, like they had almost nobody of consequence injured. And here, 3 weeks into the season, and they're down to, 9 or up to 9 guys on the injured list at any one point. So that was then. This is now, unfortunately, for the Vancouver Canucks, and again, at 8-9-1, they're scratching and clawing just to stay with the playoff pack, but 1-2-1 homestand, like 1 win in 4, that's not advancing the cause here.
No.
And so we'll see what happens now as they run this gauntlet. And again, we've said it all along, the 6-game gauntlet, got a point out of the Colorado game, and that was fun. Like Sunday night, they played hard. Nate McKinnon went to town. They lost. They got a single point. If they had followed that up and been able to get a win against this Winnipeg team, then you say, hey, 3 of 4 against 2 pretty good teams. But the Jets were there. Like, this was a 3-2 hockey game. In the second period, Jake DeBrusk, who had already scored and is heating up, and that's a good sign for the Canucks, but great pass from Ratu off the rush, and I think DeBrusk thought that he had Hellebuyck beaten. Hellebuyck made probably his best save, and certainly in a 3-2 game, I mean, massive save. And then moments later, Evander Kane off the rush got a pretty good shot away that went through Hellebuyck and trickled just wide. So the Canucks had some chance. Phil Hronek, you don't see him with the big blast, but he ripped one off the post in the second period as well. All of those happening at 3-2. Woulda, coulda, shoulda, didn't. At the other end of the ice, like Mark Scheifele had that one-timer that Lankinen got a piece of up high with his arm. So the Jets had opportunities as well. But the Canucks were hanging around in this hockey game despite losing Demko and losing Quinn Hughes there, and that didn't look good. And so fortunate to see the captain come back, and talked about it afterwards, although never seems to have much to say these days. And I see he was quoted as saying, weird play, I think I'm all good. That's all he wanted to say about the play in question when he got tangled up with Mark Scheifele. Took his first penalty of the season, by the way. Didn't get to serve it, though, because he was down the tunnel and in the locker room. All right, usually on Rink Wide we go through all the goals, but again, there's just been so much going on here. You've watched the game, you probably have seen the goals, so we don't need to go through them goal by goal. But let's get to the 3 stars because there were some standout performances in this hockey game. The 3 stars are brought to you by Greta Bar. Terrific place to catch all the games, walking distance from the rink and the stadium. But if you're looking for a place to sit down and watch games on TV, hey, Greta has you covered. All kinds of big screens for all of the action. The street food menu we talk about, they got game day specials, they've got weekly drink specials, and then the arcade games there as well. If you haven't already, check it out. Greta Bar, the place to be. 50 West Cordova, Greta Bar. Let the games begin. 3 stars in the building as selected by the broadcast crew. Josh Morrissey, Quinn Hughes, and Connor Hellebuck gets the 3rd star nod. Certainly didn't look like a game for the ages for the goaltenders in the first period, but Hellebuck did settle in. He got beaten by Besser late to make it a 1-goal game, and then the empty netter. I'm not sure that Connor Hellebuck was at his very best, but he picks up the win and helps the Jets snap their losing streak. Our 3 stars, a little bit different. Josh Morrissey with a goal and 2 helpers, so he was in on 3 of the 5 Winnipeg goals. And there's Gabe Vilardi, who has the game winner, the spinning backhander, first minute of the 3rd period on power play. And Quinn Hughes, what a night for Canuck captain, 3 assists, so he's in on all 3 of the goals. But also misses that stretch of time and, goes for 28 minutes and 18 seconds, including 11:54 of the 3rd period alone. So,
I mean, if injuries aren't going to be something that keeps him out of games or makes him get hurt or whatever it is, it's the ice time that's going to kill this guy. I mean, he plays so much hockey. He's so important to this team. Now, with Demko going down, obviously, Elias Pettersson struggles that he's had this season. Quinn Hughes is the most important hockey player the Vancouver Canucks have, and he just eats minutes night in and night out. And obviously, you see the frustration in his face in post games when they lose, because he's going out there giving everything he can and more, and still there's not a lot to show for from some of his teammates. So when you look at it, you obviously see the frustration. He's the captain of this team. The question marks surrounding his future, obviously, all sorts of things are going on in his mind. But still, to go out there, get hurt, come back, still lead the team in ice time almost every single night. Obviously, he's been a star for us before. And I think Blake pointed out, it's finally he's got 3 assists this season because we're just so used to seeing it. But his first 3-point game of the season.
Adam Foote at the podium postgame says, Thatcher Demko with a lower body injury, they'll know more tomorrow. So the coach not in a talking mood, didn't want to get into a whole lot more in the way of details. I'm not sure that that's much of an update. I think we all suspected it was a lower body injury, and they punt until tomorrow, which is a travel day. There's no media availability. I don't think any independent media is going on this road trip. We may never find out about Thatcher Demko. We'll see what happens. But anyways, that's the word out of Rogers Arena from the coach. So not much of an update. All right. We have to talk about the penalty kill. And to do that, we'll get to our stat that stands out, delivered by Uber Eats. And that'll kind of lead us into the penalty kill, which is just killing the Canucks right now. But the stat that stands out, delivered by Uber Eats, and every time the Canucks play at home, you can get a buy one, get one 6-piece chicken McNuggets from McDonald's in Vancouver, only on Uber Eats. From game day eats to paper plates and napkins if you're hosting, to all the ingredients you need to make your favorite game day dip before, during, or after the game. Uber Eats, assisting every fan's hockey experience all season long. Hashtag crave the stats. And this is telling. Because the Canucks had worked so hard to become one of the better penalty-killing teams in the National Hockey League last year, they gave up 39 power play goals over 82 games. 2 more tonight. 7th time already the Canucks have been torched for a pair of power play goals in the same game. They're up to 20 now through 18 games. They're already more than halfway to their total of all of last season, and it's showing no signs of any kind of improvement. And I saw Teddy Bluger in the press box, and you just hope that he can get back in there, and he can help to a degree, but one guy alone is not going to make a huge difference. Just look at the games here, Irf. 2 against Nashville, 1 against Chicago, miraculously got through the Columbus game unscathed, 2 against Colorado the other night, 2 more here against the Winnipeg Jets. It was Morrissey and the Velarde goal that turned out to be the game winner. The Morrissey goal, Marcus Pettersson, like, what in the world? You got the puck on your stick. You got all day off the glass and out. Hello. Instead, plays it into the slot to an unsuspecting Kiefer Sherwood, who kind of panics, blasts it off Tyler Myers. And I was like, all right. And sure enough, Josh Morrissey, and then to add insult to injury, it was Pettersson getting back in front of the net, and I think he screened Thatcher Demko, and Morrissey wires it from the point. So, they didn't get torched on the backdoor goal on the power play, although there were blue paint goals scored in this hockey game. But my goodness, 20 power play goals against, so that tops in the National Hockey League, and it's just going from bad to worse. And in fact, in the last 7 games, the Canucks penalty killing is at 52%. That's a coin toss, Surf. When they take a penalty, flip a coin. Is the other team going to score or not? They are a shade better than 50% over their last 7 hockey games.
The Colorado Avalanche were 1 for 28 on the power play before they saw the Vancouver Canucks. The Winnipeg Jets power play wasn't very good before they saw the Vancouver Canucks. What is going to happen next until they get this fixed? Whether it's, I know your goaltender is your last line of defense, but when you have defensive mistakes from Marcus Pettersson, from a guy that you shouldn't have defensive mistakes from.
I agree.
He's that shutdown, supposed to be that shutdown, steady, stay-at-home, smart hockey player guy. Get the puck off the ice or off the glass and out. When that doesn't happen, obviously the play that you're talking about hits Kiefer Sherwood. Sherwood panics because he doesn't think that he's going to eat a puck right in the middle of their defensive zone. And yeah, it's just too many mistakes. Players not being in their lanes. Teddy Blueger ain't saving this power play. There's a lot more than that. Derek Forbort ain't saving this power play. There's a lot more than that. We've said this every game this season. Those 2 players aren't coming back. They're going to help, but this is a collective issue, and they need to work on it yesterday. Not now. They need to work on it a while ago.
You just wonder, should they try some other personnel?
You have to.
It feels like they have to as well, and I'm so with you. Like, Marcus Pettersson's not here to score goals. You're not looking for that. Some leadership and just be sound defensively. And it just feels like every time right now, the other team scores in the power play. You look who's out there. Oh yeah, 29, usually 57, and then some assortment of forwards. So are we picking on them? Maybe, but you got one job around here, and the numbers suggest that you're not doing it. And so it's not like they've got a ton of options, but we'll see if at some point they have to change direction. Of course, the penalty kill was under the tutelage of Adam Foote when he was an assistant coach. He's now the head coach. The buck stopped with him, but looking at you, Kevin Dean, veteran assistant, and he's in charge, and just something's got to give here. Back to Thatcher Demko for a sec, because apparently there were some follow-ups for Adam Foote. Brendan Batchelor reporting that Thatcher Demko's injury is unrelated to the maintenance he had over the weekend. That is according to the Canucks, which makes me feel even worse about things, I think. This is a new injury for this guy? Like, what's left to be injured?
That would mean he got this injury at some point between warm-up and playing the first 20 minutes, because he was clearly good enough to start, according to the head coach in this hockey game. They asked him, you believe that he could have started? He said yes. So that means the injury, according to the Canucks, happened sometime after the morning skate, coming to the rink, and in the first period or in the first period of the hockey game. Because if it happened in warm-up, what's he going to say? Oh, let's give it a go and see if I can go? Your team, you can't afford to do that. And if you're the Vancouver Canucks and you look at it, like, this is so much worse than we could have expected, according to them, if this is the story.
Well, I mean, it's one of 2 tracks now. It's either it is related to the whole maintenance thing over the weekend, and they're trying to run some sort of distraction play, or it's a totally separate injury for a guy who's got a list of injuries that's this long, and now this is something else. And he's supposed to be your number one and the guy that you can turn to and can ride like a horse. I don't know.
This horse ain't got too much power left if it's a lower body leg injury again. Well, clearly it's obviously a leg injury, but
30.
yeah.
We're a month away from his 30th birthday.
And look, let me say this. You hope the guy can play again. Like, you hope he's okay. Same with Filipino. I know we talk about all these players and injuries and things like that and what has happened in games. You hope at the end of it, like Thatcher Demko can get out of this and play at a high level again. You hope Filipino can come back and play National Hockey League games again. But this is, if this is what the case is for Thatcher Demko, it's frightening. They just gave him $25 million for the next 3 seasons. Like you invested a lot into this guy as well. You already have invested a lot into this guy and you continue to do it. And you feel bad for the guy, but a new injury, you can't stay healthy. It's just so unfortunate for him. I mean, he's got to be crushed.
Oh, I'm sure he is. He's a gamer. He wants to play. He wants to help this hockey club. He missed so much time last year. Absolutely. There's a part of you that feels for him, but like, what in the world was management thinking that they had to rush in the first order of business on July 1st last year, coming off a year in which this guy played 23 games, Irv, and they had to lock him up for 3 more years? And sure, I mean, it's 3 years. It's not max term. I get that. But why not wait 20 games, 40 games to see if this was a possibility? And again, we don't know what this is going to turn into. But I think we all knew that they, at some point this season, they were going to arrive at this signpost that Thatcher Demko was unable to play due to some sort of injury issue. And they're committed to him with a sizable raise for 3 years starting next year. And you just wonder, can he even get through this year?
I'll tell you exactly why it happened. It's because there was nothing else on the go. They did him and Brock.
And Garland.
And Garland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, the same questions about Garland. Like, if this organization isn't heading in the direction that it wants and the franchise and the fans want, like, what was the race to get Garland signed as well? Like, why not keep some flexibility? And if you needed trade chips at the deadline here or ahead of the deadline, like, I don't know. I mean, which you can't give every guy that's going to be into his 30s these long-term extensions, and that's kind of where they are with Kiefer Sherwood right now. And yet Kiefer Sherwood just keeps showing up and playing his ass off and producing for this hockey club. If there's a guy that deserves a raise, it's Kiefer Sherwood, and he might get it from this organization, but how many guys well into their 30s can they have under contract keeping a group together that has done jack squat in the grand scheme of things over the years here?
Which begs the even bigger question on top of all of this is, what is the direction of this team? And you know who's asking that? Their captain. That's who's asking that. Where are we going and how are we getting there?
For sure.
That's why, I mean,
For
we can
sure.
you and I sit here and talk about it every single night.
Yeah. No, I mean, I almost feel like we should do an impromptu vibe check but we won't. We'll wait till the end of the month here. But, out on a road trip now that takes them to Carolina, Tampa, and Florida, 3 games in 4 nights with all that travel. And we don't know who's going to be available in goal. I don't know if Quinn Hughes is 100%, but he did finish the game and played well. There were moments in this game as well. Like, they give up another goal. They've given up the first goal in 12 of 18. So, that's a tough way to live in the National Hockey League when you're down 1-0 most of the time, 2/3 of the game so far. But to their credit, they came back. Sherwood and Hughes working the give and go off the left side there. And Kiefer Sherwood can't miss these days. Everybody he's not going to shoot 35% all season. Maybe he will. He's up to 11 now. Got his 10th the other night. Now he's at 11. And then moments after that, they got a power play. And Jake DeBrusk, it is wild, something about November, but he's scored in 3 straight now, 4 of his last 5. That's where I didn't think Connor Hellebuck looked particularly good. In fact, I thought that shot hit the outside of the net. There wasn't much to shoot at there, and somehow DeBrusk was able to sneak it in for his 6th of the season. So he's up to 6 goals in 18 games now, 1 every 3. That'll put him right there on that pace that will get him to the 28 that he scored last year. But it is wild how they come in bunches for him. And so at that point, at 2-1, thought, okay, it wasn't a great start for the Canucks, but they've turned the tide here. They've got the lead. And then DPD takes the penalty. We talked about the Morrissey goal. And then the Niederreiter goal 15 seconds later, DPD, if you watch the replay, and we're showing on the live stream, like, he has to do a better job. It's the NHL. He's got to do a better job in the corner. Take the man or take a hit and make the play. He did neither there. pulls up and allows, I think it was Iafallo, to win the battle and then get the puck behind the net. Lowry's able to get it out front. And that's where I wonder, too, that Niederreiter crashing the crease, Tom Willander has a piece of him. I just wonder if Victor Mancini in that situation does a better job of boxing out an opponent just because of his size. And Mancini skating this morning at the morning skate, getting closer. And so they're going to have some decisions here. But that was an instance. And for the most part, I've been impressed with Willander and the way he's looked early in his NHL career. But just on size alone, Mancini is a bigger body that can probably fend off defenders a little bit better. Willander's got to do a better job, but the breakdown starts long before the puck gets into his neighborhood.
No, absolutely. And like having DPD and Willander on at the same time probably can't really happen in too many games, but unfortunately that is what happened on the ice. And Willander's going to learn. I mean, he's got some great hockey IQ. You can see it in some of his subtle plays that, you know, the hockey sense is there, and he's going to grow and he's going to learn the league. And, you know, he's going to take a beating on some nights because that's what happens to young players in the National Hockey League. But he's going to be a good defenseman for the Vancouver Canucks, a very good one. On a night like this, got boxed out by a guy that's played in the NHL for a long time, bigger, faster, stronger, and it's just the way it works. And for a guy like DPD, again, he's growing into his own as well. He's going to make the same mistakes, but you're right, Jeff. In that instant, you got to pick one of the two things. You can't just let nothing happen.
This is the segment of the program where we get to the other Elias Pettersson. The segment, it's almost like its own nightly segment here on Rinkwide. This segment is presented by the Pacific Toyota dealers and the Toyota Prius plug-in hybrid and its no-compromise approach to electric vehicles that offers the best of both worlds. You can drive up to 72 kms on battery alone, enough to get you from downtown to the rink to the grocery store and then home to recharge. It seamlessly transitions from electric mode to the gas engine for a combined range of 962 kilometers. No sacrifices when it comes to horsepower or style with its sleek, low, and wide exterior and its sophisticated interior and loaded with tech that's actually easy to use. And right now, you can lease a 2025 Prius plug-in hybrid SE from $99 weekly at 3.49% APR for 64 months with $3,600 down, and that includes a $3,000 discount. Visit shoptoyota.ca or your local Pacific Toyota dealer today. We talked about the shots or the lack thereof when we look at the rest of the night for Elias Pettersson. 24 minutes and 23 seconds of ice time. I just want to check to see if that's a career high for him in the National Hockey League. It is not. He's played 27 minutes at some point. I don't remember the night, but it's a season high for Elias Pettersson at the very least. So played a ton, but very little show for it. He had 2 assists. I want to talk about his first assist here in a sec. 1 shot, 3 attempts, and he got his lunch fed to him by Mark Scheifele in the face-off circle.
You got clobbered, yeah.
Won 8 of 26. He was 31% in the face-off circle. So that's a tough night. He takes a lot of face-offs, but I was looking at it. The 5 NHL leaders in terms of raw face-offs taken, and Petey was 3rd, I think, but he's the only guy under 50%. So the rest of those guys that do it, they do it reasonably well. It's a bit of a struggle, and it was a real struggle for him tonight. But so he gets the second assist on the first goal, the Jake DeBrusk power play goal. If you watch it back, you're not going to find video evidence of the assist. I can't recall. I'm sure there have been other instances like this, but I can't think of one off the top of my head. He plays the puck in the Winnipeg end on the power play, plays it back to the point, and the puck skips over a stick and slides all the way back into Canucks territory. Or if Quinn Hughes races back to get it, couple of strides, headman pass, DeBrusk down the left side, and he scores. Petey gets the second assist from the last time they were in the offensive zone. The puck cleared the zone, went back into the Canucks end. Somehow there's not like a reset or a refresh in terms of possession there. So that's a freebie for him. Like, people are wondering where the points are, and then he gets a one like that. He'll take them. It's a 2-assist night for Elias Pettersson, but it comes in a losing cause. But, just a rarity. Almost like, we've seen over the years goalie goals where the goalie's the last player to touch the puck, and then the other team sends it back into their own net. I mean, some sort of similarities there. But whatever. It'll go on his record. He comes out of the thing with a multi-point night.
And in a game where he was quote unquote a monster, and a game that he played really, really, really well, like against the Colorado Avalanche, where he rose to the occasion, against the big dogs of the McKinnons of the world and the Makars of the world. And that team coming to a game like this, you got your lunch fed to you by Mark Scheifele. There wasn't much pushback, and the guy that was generating the most shots was the guy on your line that you were passing the puck to or finding them. And granted, not many of them were high danger chances for Evander Kane at all. A lot of them were from the perimeter or backhands that Hellebuyck was able to save. But you just want to see that driving play. You want to see him take over a game. Your goalie goes down. Your captain goes out for a little bit. He's battling with something. You want to see him take over a game, or at least try to.
Yeah, and again, the strategy of Evander Kane just shooting all the time, that's not working either. He's got 3 goals, 18 games into the season. So if he was finding the back of the net and had 8, 9, 10 goals at this point, maybe. But this is just kind of banging your head against the wall and hoping that something's going to happen there, and it's not. And so, great that he played a lot and dug in, but I don't think his game was anywhere close tonight to the way he played the other night against Colorado, and even then he took on the McKinnon matchup, and McKinnon left town with 5 points. So Scheifele didn't crush the Canucks. In fact, Scheifele didn't even figure in the scoring. Kyle Connor did get an assist on the Velarde goal and had a pretty good scoring chance racing down the left wing right after Connor Garland at one end and Kyle Connor at the other. They traded good scoring chances in the, I guess it was late in the first period. Mm-hmm. But, this wasn't a night where the top of the Jets lineup absolutely did the damage the way that Colorado did the other night, but still, Canucks come out on the short end of a score here and are left kind of spinning their wheels a little bit again as they travel tomorrow, practice day Thursday, and then they'll play Carolina on Friday. And we'll talk a little bit more about the Hurricanes coming up later. We're going to get to our line of the night as well. Just looking at a few other stats that we really haven't talked about. Canucks went 1 for 2 on the power play, but they lose the special teams battle. Winnipeg officially 2 for 4 with the man advantage. Canucks outshot Winnipeg 33-30, including 11-9 in the third period. Some score effects coming into play there. Because Besser scores, and nice goal from Brock. He's up to 8 now. That's a healthy total for him. And there were 90 seconds left. They called their timeout, rest their top guys, little strategy session, all that kind of stuff. They weren't out of it until Iafallo scores the empty netter. But, the underlying numbers, and again, score effects, I think, play here. The Canucks, 55.7%. Corsi 4 as a group here. Natural Stat Trick has the scoring chances at 29-18 in favor of the Canucks 5-on-5. Did not feel like that. The high dangers were even at 10 apiece, and that felt a little bit more like it. But end of the night, Jets scored twice at 5-on-5. The Canucks just get one. The Canucks get a 5-on-5, a 6-on-5, and a power play goal. So 3 different game states for the Vancouver goals on this night. We talked about the fact that Lucas Reichel didn't play the final 10 minutes, and that's become a thing now the last couple of games. He was the low man in terms of individual Corsi at 38.7% on the night. So just nothing happening for him. And you wonder, Max Sasson got promoted in the third period. Are you looking at running with Sasson? It would be impossible to get less from anybody in that slot right now. And so I do wonder if Max Sasson isn't a perfect answer. I thought Aatu Räty, there were moments again in his game. I like what I've seen over the last 6 or 8 from Aatu Räty, but I don't know that I'm ready to see him as the second-line center for the Vancouver Canucks, thinking that they can continue to push this whole thing forward. But Räty was the Corsi king, 72.2%. Shot attempts, 13-5 for the Canucks when he was on the ice. Actual shots were 7-2. A little unfortunate that he was on the ice for a goal against and not on the ice for any scored for the Vancouver Canucks. So the goal column doesn't favor him, but the other ones individually look pretty good on Aatu Räty, and that's a continuation of the way that he has been playing. And we were all cheated of a Drew O'Connor goal. I thought that was a night I had it written down before the game even started. I was like, another one for Drew O'Connor, because that's what's happening these days. But he was pretty quiet, I thought, in this hockey game as well.
Yeah, consistency is a lot of the things that happen with this team where, it's one great game and one not so good game. And then the only guy that we can count on to play well really in this month is probably Jake DeBrusk, right? You know, we know about his Novembers and how things go for him. But yeah, I mean, a lot of guys that were on the downward in this hockey game. You hope that with a couple days off practice day in Carolina, things can change. We have the head coach.
Yeah, we'll get to the Adam Foote here in a sec. A couple more super chats supporting the BC Mental Health Foundation. Keep them coming. We love the support, and so do they. Super chat from Adam. Trade Hughes now. Like right now, like while we're on the show, that would extend our night, or if we would be doing rink wide well into the night if they were to pull off a post game trade of the captain. I don't think it's happening, but I get the sentiment there. This one comes from Nux for Cup. How about first goal of the game? Canucks 6, opposition 12. We covered that this team's not good enough to be spotting its opponent goal 2/3 of the time and thinking it can roar back. And Shane bringing the super chat that says Redemko. That's even worse news. Maintenance career. Yeah. I mean, I saw people try to make light of the fact that when he didn't show up for the second, it's just a maintenance period. It's no laughing matter, unfortunately. And again, we'll see what happens in the light of day. But I'd be surprised if he's on this road trip. If he couldn't get through the first period, how could you expect him to be ready to go on Friday and play an entire hockey game? So we read some of the quotes from the head coach. Let's hear from him in his own words at the podium post-game following a 5-3 loss to the Winnipeg Jets. Here is Adam Foote.
Adam, just start off with your thoughts on the game.
We had a good game. I mean, I hate to talk about numbers, but we outchanced them again 5-on-5, and we had a missed clear on a PK, and then it hits our stick and goes in, and then we were in a good pressure situation on the one, killing pretty good, and then we got 2 spread out, and they got that goal. So that was the game.
What can you tell us about Thatcher needing to leave after the first, and what's his status at the moment?
Yeah, he lower body, and we'll find out tomorrow the time.
What was your reaction when Quinn Hughes went down, and how happy were you when he actually came back to the game?
Yeah, well, when he goes down, obviously you don't want to see that, right? Our captain, player of that high quality, but you just get ready for what's going to happen next, and it was nice to see him come back.
Evander Kane had about 2 minutes more of even strength ice time than any of his teammates tonight. It's been a bit of a trend this season. Is that part of the plan? Is that something that you like to see?
Well, when you're down 2 goals and you don't know how much opportunity you're going to get, that line's been producing in zone. We've got a lot of chances. So you're trying to get back in the game, and they're producing down low. So yeah.
Given what happened tonight, do you believe Thatcher was ready to play?
Yes.
The goalie tandem was touted as a real strength of this team heading into the season. How much do you rely on that heading into some uncertainty about what's going on with Thatcher?
Well, I think if you look at the league, anyone that's won, gone deep in the playoffs have a good goalie. And we've talked about this at the beginning of the year. It's like football. You need the quarterback, and we have a good goalie tandem. So, it's it is what it is. Guys are gonna miss games. Guys are gonna get injured.
The penalty kill gives up 2 goals again.
Yeah.
It's 2 games in a row now where that's pretty much cost you the game.
Yeah.
What needs to change in that?
We got to keep working on it. I mean, we had a missed clear, hits our own guy in the skate. On that clear, we got to take our time. I think we had more time there than just turning and spinning around. And then we had the pressure situation. We had a lot more pressure today. We're doing well, and then when they settled it, we were kind of caught in between, and they made the play they made. We have to know when to be in right up pressuring or back off, and we were just caught a little bit. But overall, the kill was better. But we just got to keep working on it. We're got a lot of new faces killing, and sometimes it goes like this, and you just got to keep reeling it back in and keep teaching it.
Someone who's very important to the penalty kill, at least was last season, is Teddy Bluger. He wasn't on the ice for the morning skate. Do you have any update on his availability? Will he travel on the road trip?
I don't have. He might travel. I'll find out tomorrow, like tomorrow morning or even after. Right now, I don't know for sure, but I think there's chances he will not play this road trip. More likely he won't, but we'll find out more in the morning.
All right, so the hits keep coming for the Vancouver Canucks. That is more bad news that it doesn't sound like Teddy Bluger is going to be available. And this ties right back to Thatcher Demko and to Derek Forbort earlier in the year, from maintenance day to long-term injury. Out on that last road trip, we were told that Connor Garland is close and Teddy Bluger is right behind him, is going to be the next guy. And now Teddy Bluger, who was on the ice for a morning skate, and I saw him out there with my own eyes in a non-contact jersey on Saturday, and now we're told that he's probably not ready to go on this road trip. So this is what makes it difficult, that they don't help themselves with the messaging. It feels like just every time that questions are asked, you're getting different answers. You're not getting a ton of what seems like clarity from the Vancouver Canucks about any of their players. And again, I know that they go to these great lengths to try to avoid providing injury information, but people are paying big money to support this hockey club, and I think they just want some honesty is all that they're asking for. And I don't get a sense, and I see it in our inbox and in the chat, that there are a lot of people that don't think the hockey club is being terribly honest with the paying customer right now.
I just don't know how hard it was for whatever message that was going to be relayed about Thatcher Demko wasn't given to the coach, that was just said and it would have flat out have ended. You didn't need another tweet from Brendan Batchelor or whoever, all the other Canucks media that was there saying that it's not an injury. Like, doesn't the head coach know that? That the injury wasn't from what happened from the maintenance days over the weekend. Then that has nothing to do with what happened today. Like that, I think that's where the messaging gets a little murky.
But even if they say that as they did, like, I just think we're at a point now where people are like, I don't believe that.
100%.
I'm choosing not to believe that, and that's your prerogative. And this is part of the problem in the NHL, that there is no policy about declaring injuries, and so they're allowed to sort of hide behind this vagueness, and the Canucks seem to go to great lengths to do it, which is unfortunate. But, I mean, when I go back to Friday and the first time that Adam Foote was asked about and addressed the Thatcher Demko thing, the whole organization and Patrick Elvine on After Hours on Saturday said, he was a possibility. Remember, he said he was a possibility for Sunday. He was never a possibility for Sunday.
And they knew that.
Yeah, and so it really different voices, but they all seem to be singing from the same playbook or hymn book here, and they all twist themselves in knots rather than just being straight up, like, we're all adults here. I think we can handle some degree of truth, and unfortunately it's hard on a lot of days to kind of fight through all the layers. So that wasn't a command performance, I didn't think, from Adam Foote at the podium. He was asked if Thatcher should have started this game, and he said yes, and just kind of left it at that. And you could hear him bristle when Daniel Wagner started with the penalty kill. Foote was like, yep. He knew the question was coming. He doesn't have any answers.
I mean, he's a guy that played on the penalty kill in his career.
But he keeps talking about all these young guys that are getting opportunities. Well, the proof is pretty much in the pudding that the players that they're using either are the wrong guys or they're just not very good at penalty kill. And if Teddy Bluger is not getting close to coming back, Derek Forbort's still on LTIR. Like, we can't sit here and say, just wait until these guys come back. At this rate, we don't know if they're coming back. And so, the other part, too, with the whole Demko thing is, like, it becomes a massive distraction in that locker room. Like, he leaves after 20, and they're in there. It's a 3-2 hockey game, and the players are probably looking around and like, are you coming back for the second? And Lankinen's stretching. Like, are you starting? Like, what's going on? And, it sort of takes on a life of its own in that locker room. And so it's got to be difficult for the players, and they want to believe and trust in Thatcher Demko, but some of them, they're all human. They know his injury history here, and so even if they're friends and teammates, how could they not help but have some questions and concerns about this whole thing moving forward?
Well, I also think that, going back to the point you made about the room, it's exactly what I asked you, and I said, what'd you think after 20 minutes when you saw Kevin Lankinen coming out? Well, here we go. And if it's going to be like this, here we go. And we got to, play a little bit differently. We might not have our ace again. We might not know when he's going to come back. I mean, these are fair questions to be asked, not only by us, not only by the coaching staff, by management, the ownership, but including the players in that locker room that are going to feel it every single day without their guy being there. And it sucks for them too, because they didn't know. Obviously, you're in a game and it's tight and it's close and you don't know what's going on. And then your goalie goes down and he's like, okay, well, Lanks, you're up. Yep. And that's something that they've had to...
soon, Yuri Patera,
Yeah.
you're going to have to play because, again, at 8-9-1, the Canucks are still there in the mud puddle just below the playoff bar in the Western Conference. They're not even at the 20-game mark. They're doing all they can up against it on a lot of fronts here to stay with the pack. But this is where things got away from Kevin Lankinen last year. He was a terrific story and a great signing in the first half of the season as they awaited the return of Thatcher Demko, who didn't make his debut until mid-December. But remember, when Demko got hurt in that final game before the Four Nations and then wasn't available for 6 weeks, coming out of the Four Nations, which Lankinen was a part of for Team Finland, and they had no trust in Thatcher Demko. Rick Tocchet just didn't want to play, or Artur Silovs, rather. And so it was Lankinen every night, basically. And the numbers showed. Like, every guy has a breaking point. This is the best league in the world. These are the best shooters. You can't, as a goalie, play every single game. It just doesn't work that way. And so he played back-to-back. He comes on in relief here 3 games in 4 nights. Now they travel, and he's going to play 2 unless Demko makes a miraculous recovery, but that seems unlikely for this road trip. And so in Kevin, they trust, but again, he can't play them all. And so a guy that hasn't played in the NHL in well over a year and barely played any hockey at all last year in Yuri Patera is going to have to make his Vancouver Canucks debut, I would think, on this road trip.
I mean, look, if they play Lankinen like the way that they did last season, he's going to fall apart. There are going to be some serious holes in his game. You know, you run the risk of injury. He's going to be a part of Finland at the Olympics. You have to think that he's going to be a part of that team in some capacity, whether he's going there or even if he doesn't play, he's still going to Milan. He's still going to practice every day. He's still going to have to, be with the team and not here, not resting his body, not being in Cancun like some of these other guys will be. But and I think that, you have to look, but for a league-wide thing, like Stolarz is hurt for the Leafs, like they might be in need of a goalie too. So it's not like goalies are around that
Vegas is already down to their third stringer, and
Lindblom is going to be a guy that could be available there. Carter Hart, who knows what the story is there and when he's going to be able to play for the Vegas Golden Knights. So there's going to be
Edmonton's always looking for goaltending.
Yeah, it's not an easy thing to go out and make a trade. It's not even, and way harder, more difficult thing to go and make one for a goalie, especially one that can play all the time.
Well, I know one that can't play all the time. He plays here in Vancouver, and he's out again. And we'll see if they're like. This would be my advice to the Canucks. Not that they need advice, but tomorrow is a travel day. They've already put out their tweet about their plan for tomorrow. I'd like to see Patrick Allvin or Jim Rutherford or somebody get out in front tomorrow, because as they travel and then go as far as you possibly can in the National Hockey League geographically with no local media, independent media on this trip, I'd love to see somebody get out in front and provide an update on Thatcher Demko with as much information as they have and are willing to share before they jump on that flight. I don't expect that that's going to happen. That's not the way that generally they or other teams have done business here. But again, when you only have team employees covering the team on the road, this is where the fans really suffer. And look, I'd love to be out on the road. It's a massive financial undertaking that not many companies are doing anymore. And this is really where the fans suffer, unfortunately, because honestly, Irf, like internally, nobody that works for the Canucks is going to ask the head coach for an update on the goaltender.
Not in a practice day after a travel day on the road, no.
Honestly, are we looking at, hopefully an insider or somebody somewhere can provide some information, crack the code.
I'll try.
But, we'll see what happens here. I don't know when we'll get an update on Thatcher Demko. So, anyhow, what a night. What a night.
Well, before we get to our line, let me ask you my final question, because you asked me this question about another player before. Is Thatcher Demko going to be on the flight to Carolina?
I don't think so.
Okay. I don't think so either.
I don't think so, given the week that was and his 20-minute cameo appearance in uniform here. I would be very surprised. So, Let's get to the line of the night.
All right.
Line of the night might have been over under 20 minutes for Thatcher Demko.
Oh, my goodness. There would have been some massive odds for that one way or the other. But yes, we are going to our line of the night presented by Bet365. Jacob, where am I going? I totally forgot when I did this. The Edmonton Oilers on the road in Philly. I like them. Utah and the New Jersey Devils. 3 bigger favorites, but you put those together, you get some pretty good odds there. So the Oilers, the Mammoth, and the New Jersey Devils on the road visiting Connor Bedard and the Chicago Blackhawks. So I definitely do like those if you put them all together. It's a pretty lighter night in the NHL, as some of the Tuesdays and Thursdays are always super busy. So definitely see that. But whatever it is, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Download the app, get it on the game, use code NATION. Bet365 must be 19 or older. Please play responsibly.
Now, the super chat to wrap things up here. This one comes from Mother Knucker. I have to be careful.
Careful.
If Demko's out long term, do you all think ownership could remove management as a scapegoat? Happy Remembrance and Veterans Day from Texas. New team slogan, we are all stressed out. And he brings the little happy face emoji, or at least the one with the glasses. Or is that the spinning eyes? I can't
That's
see.
the spinning eyes one.
Yeah, I'm not getting into a long discussion right now about removing management, but again, this doesn't look great on man. I mean, we already covered. It feels now more than ever like it was a real rush last summer, and maybe it was just to somehow look active and busy and give a fan base something on July 1st, knowing that they weren't going to be able to accomplish a whole lot more. But boy, I think patience would have been the order of the day. Unfortunately, what's done is done. Contracts are signed, and Demko gets the raise and has 3 years at 8.5 kicking in starting next season.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing to that is just, I'm again not going to get into it really too much, but they make the playoffs a couple of years ago and you've regressed since. And that's really all you can kind of look at it from that point of view. That's really all we need to say.
So they go into Carolina. Start of a 3 games and 4-night road trip. Friday in Carolina, Sunday afternoon in Tampa, Monday in South Florida against the Panthers. And the Hurricanes lost 4-1 at home tonight to Washington. That snapped a 4-game win streak, so they've been playing well. They're 11-5 on the season, 5-2 at home. Best puck possession team in the National Hockey League in terms of Team Corsi 4. So they love to have the puck. They love to shoot the puck. They're also one of the highest scoring teams in the league. Now, they weren't in a 4-1 loss to Washington. Some fireworks there. Was it Nick Dowd that bumped Freddie Anderson? And looked like we might get a goalie fight at one point in that hockey game. Anyways, that's not generally the way the Carolina Hurricanes play the game. Sebastian Aho leads them 16 points. Seth Jarvis has 15. He's got 10 goals. Nick Ehlers with his 3rd of the season tonight. So it's been a bit of a slow start and an adjustment to him. And we mentioned that Freddie Anderson was there, but they've used 3 goaltenders. They have trouble keeping goalies healthy. No another team that is going down that road these days as well. Whatever the case, it's the Hurricanes, and they're built to win now, and that's going to be a handful for the Vancouver Canucks. They got shut out in Carolina last year, and then they got snowed in. Remember that?
I do remember
the back-to-backs,
that.
Carolina and Toronto, lost in Carolina, and then had to fly day of, and everybody, day of travel, and then they went and they shut out the Leafs themselves. So they don't have to worry, I don't think, too much about weather, although I saw it was unseasonably cold. It was warmer in Vancouver the last couple of days than it was in Raleigh, North Carolina, but it's supposed to get back to seasonal down there in the southeast, so I don't think the Canucks are going to have to worry about weather issues. They will have to worry about the Carolina Hurricanes, however, because they are a handful. So that's where the road trip starts, and that's when we will be back at it. You're not
back next week.
Yes. So Irf is taking the weekend off. Rinkwide is not. And
seen enough. I'm kidding.
Seriously, I feel like the entire fan base market could use a week off after this one.
I'll be back for Florida.
Okay. All right. So to wrap up the road trip, and who knows what storylines we'll have to talk about by the time they get through the first couple on this trip. But that is going to do it for us here on an eventful night that sees the Canucks fall 5-3 to the Winnipeg Jets, and the team loses its starting goaltender for the time being. Jacob Lazar working hard behind the scenes, and we appreciate all of his help, and certainly we appreciate all of your support. Remember to Hammer that subscribe button to the Rinkwide YouTube page. We had raw video of Thatcher Demko, only place in town that you were going to get video from the morning skate of Thatcher Demko, ISO cam on Thatcher Demko. And now we know that what happened in the morning skate really didn't matter by the time the game rolled around. But that is going to do it for us. 5-3, the Canucks fall to the Jets. For Irf, I'm Jeff. Again, we take a moment to salute those that have served and continue to serve our country on this Remembrance Day. Thanks so much for checking out this episode of Rinkwide Vancouver.